Yeah, amongst all those trips and all the memorable surf sessions over the decades, including the one where you caught that eponymous wave at
Yeah.
the potato patch. Any other like highlights of proud moments, maybe a couple that stand out that you would like to share?
I have a wave that I surf some hours north from here. I have a little 10 by 12 foot cabin, no electricity, on a cliff over a surf break. And then it looks out over way out in the ocean, an outer reef spot that I first surfed in 85, 86. And it remains my favorite big wave spot in the world. And I've managed to keep it a secret for the most part and not let what befell Mavericks happen to it. And so I've had experiences out there that just would blow anyone's mind. And usually surfing alone, about a mile from shore. And the one that most comes to mind actually is, again, the lessons of hubris are critical to me. And so I had paddled out alone on a 10-9 brand new board that Jeff Clark made me. And it was, 20 to 25 foot, something like that. So that would be like 4 to 6 times overhead. And and when I do this on my own to these outer reef spots, I promise myself I'll only take 3 waves. And the first wave, it'll be an easy one. I'm not going to say shoulder hop, but sort of. And the goal is to try and do it without getting my hair wet. Because again, it's not like Ocean Beach where you got to dive through the whitewater. These are places you can access through relatively calm water. It can take 45 minutes or an hour to paddle out. And then the third wave would be the only one that I would really kind of take a chance and sort of sit deeper, maybe a bigger wave, whatever. And so I'd already caught my first 2 waves. And then this fog bank appeared. And it happened like so fast. It was like a bad special effect in a movie or something, but literally no visibility. And I don't know, 50 feet, something like that. And so I have my lineups out there based on way on shore sort of areas that I triangulate and figure out where I am and to where the wave would break. But I also know the kelp bed pretty well and the boils pretty well. And I said, okay, I know where I'm sitting. I'll just wait for the fog to lift because I really want to get that third wave. And, it was kind of amazing because as soon as I sort of had convinced myself that I would get a third wave, this giant wave broke outside of me. I didn't even see it coming. We're talking huge wave. Throw your board away, dive as deep as you can. The leash breaks.
Oh, goodness.
And it's one of those things where it's so violent that it sort of launches you back up from the depths like a torpedo shooting out of the water or something. And I go, oh man, this will be a challenge. And I just looked at my watch. It was 3:47. I remember exactly. And I thought, there's time. It was dead of winter, so it was going to turn dark at 5. And I wasn't really worried about swimming in. I've practiced swimming in out there before. It's really tricky to swim in. You have to swim in through these rocks, and we call it the keyhole, and it's formidable. But really what I was worried was to find my new board. And I have a pretty good idea where the boards go from having happened before, but never in the dense fog. And part of it was that you had to stay with where the waves were breaking because that's where the board would go, which meant that you had to let these still giant waves just pummel you. And I did all of the above and was swimming around out in the ocean, again, about a mile offshore, looking for my board in the fog and never found it.
Okay.
And then finally swam in, and my car was parked pretty far away. And so I'm running along the road with my broken leash. And now the sun's come out. Now I can see everything. And all I want to do is get binoculars so I can look for it. And some guy driving by who recognizes me, he says, "Doc, what are you doing?" I said, "I just lost my board." And he goes, "You were fucking out there?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Could you help me find my board?" And he said, yeah, great. So he's got binoculars too. And so we stood on the cliff and just watched and watched and watched. Never found the board, turned dark, and that was the end of the day.
Wow. That's quite a story. And I think what's cool about the story was it wasn't quite what I expected the story to be and to have the ending that it did. But I think in many ways, it brings together like so many elements of surfing. It's the highs and the lows and the chases and the losses and some of those elements that I think just stay with you. The sort of those natural elements, the fog and the coastline and the solitude.